Hello, BookTube. I have a wonderful tag for you today. One might even say, a delicious tag. I was tagged by Beck at Beck's Books, and the tag is the junk food book tag. I thought we'd get right into it. Number one, chocolates are ooey gooey. Choose a book with a great romance. Many, of course, to choose from. But the one that caught my eye as I was looking at my bookshelves was one from a series almost a decade ago. This is Transgressions. It is, the series was MM Romance, gay romance. The author is Erastes, that's a pen name for a member of the Historical Novel Society. So, there's a good chance that the research will be good, and it is. Set in 1642 England, where a blacksmith's son and the helper that the blacksmith's son's oblivious father hires to help him develop feelings for each other. And it's well done. Even though such a relationship and such feelings for each other are utterly impossible in 1642 England, nevertheless, the author goes ahead and writes the book. Without warping anything, without simplifying anything, without fairy tailing anything. And boy, is it a good job. Highly recommend it. Question number 2. Ice cream is frozen but will melt. Choose a book with a bad beginning but a good ending. And for this, I chose Crime and Punishment. Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. This is the old Penguin classic with a wall with one hole in it and a little eye peeping through. Which is a psychological mess of a slog for the first 300 pages until Raskolnikov finally decides to kill somebody. And it perks right up. Let's see. Question number 3. Candy can be sweet and sour. Choose a book with a good beginning but a bad ending. And for this, I went back all the way. I went back to a classic. This is Virgil's Aeneid. In which you get Virgil and his crew, or Aeneas and his crew, who flee from burning Troy. They have all sorts of adventures. Storms and savagery on the high seas, fighting and an even romance. But the end of the book is assured from the beginning. They are fated by the gods, by destiny, to found the city that will become Rome, and to seed the Italian peninsula with the noble stock that will then become the Romans. And you kind of know that going in, and Virgil knew it. Of course, he knew what he was doing. And the very end of the book is a fight between Aeneas and the heroic defender of the people who are already there, who don't really want to be supplanted for the imperial dreams of Rome. Turnus is his name, and he's brutally murdered at the capstone, the end of the book, and it was written intentionally to leave you unsettled and with a bad taste in your mouth, and it very much does. So, I don't know, maybe a little simplistic to call it a bad ending, but it's certainly a Homeric ending, in terms of the Iliad, anyway. Let's see here. Number 4, pizza comes in many varieties. I would have to take your word for it. Don't eat pizza. Name a book with a wide range of characters. I have one in mind here. It's a chunker, or the mother of all chunkers. This is Michael Schmidt's The Novel, a biography. And it is the history of the novel. And he brings in everybody and their mother. And he's such a good writer that you don't mind. And you have no trouble following his cast of characters. These millions of extras. I know you see this coming, and you're probably rolling your eyes, but nevertheless, because it's Steve's channel, I do heartily recommend this. You have all loved reading novels. Reading this book about them, which is as well written as any novel, as gripping as any novel, is well worth your time. And it'll only take you a weekend. Don't hashtag me. Hashtag real slow readers. Let's move on, shall we? Number 5, chips make a loud crunch. Choose a book that made a big impact on the series. I have one in mind, and it made a very big impact on the series by ending it. It's this, unfortunately. It's Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris, uh, in which he tells the story of the young and adolescent Hannibal Lecter, the horror that he went through when the Nazis invaded his homeland and his home, his upbringing, his rarefied upbringing, the first flowerings of his murderous impulses. The book was a mistake from the beginning. An author as talented and literate as Thomas Harris should not have chased popularity. And because he did, he wrote something that millions of fans would have thought was utterly impossible. He wrote a dull Hannibal Lecter book and killed the franchise when he shouldn't have done it. The 2 years that went into writing this book should have been 4 or 5 years in which he wrote something much meatier, something much closer to the heartstrings of the dramatic pistons that drove the earlier books. In other words, he should have left Hannibal Lecter alone. Don't write any more about this character, no matter how your fans howl for it. Instead, write about something else. Write about another serial killer. Make up a new character. Or do what the TV series, the excellent TV series, went on to do, and give us the story of Will Graham and Jack Crawford hunting and finally finding Garrett Jacob Hobbs, the serial killer Garrett Jacob Hobbs, or a million other things. It didn't have to be the I was a teenage Hannibal Lecter, and that's a shame because even I would have loved to see more books. There haven't been any, but also this book is not bad. It's just thin. Anyway, let's see here. Question number 6 and question number 7 sort of go together for me. 6 is cakes are a guilty pleasure. Name a book that's a guilty pleasure. And 7 is soda is fizzy and bubbly. Name a book that made you cheerful. And for me, it's both at the same time. And it's someone I mentioned on this channel before. It'll be predictable. It's P.G. Wodehouse, who is both a guilty pleasure because there's always something I could be reading instead. And also, effortlessly pleasing. He pleases all the time. So those two things sort of go together here. Number 8, cocktails can make you tipsy. Gathering from this that whoever invented this tag was not Irish. Never known a cocktail to make me tipsy. 5 bottles of wine, now that might make me tipsy. But a cocktail? For Pete's sake. Choose a book that gave you a book hangover. Now, I know what this term means because I've been watching BookTube. It's a book hangover, for those of you who might be new or might not know, is the feeling you get when you read a book that's so good that you're dazed by it and you can't really grab on to the next book. I read a lot, I read very fast, and I want to cover a lot of books, so I don't indulge in book hangovers. But I know the feeling. And one that came to mind when I was looking at the bookshelves to do this tag was this thing. It was Africa by John Reader, which is such a good book. So multidimensional, so intelligent, so cleanly and starkly wonderfully written, that when I finished it, I confess facing the next 150-page history of the color brown, or 150-page memoir of somebody growing up with a pot-bellied pig in Brooklyn, didn't seem as appetizing as it might otherwise have done. That's the closest I get to a book hangover. And if that's the case, I definitely felt it. But you got to push on anyway, because the next book might be great. Let's see here. Question number 9. What's the next book cookies are great rewards. What's the next book you want to buy for yourself as a reward? Don't know what reward for what is being specified here, but I think I've mentioned on this channel, I get most of the books that I really want from publishers, but there are some that I don't get. They're mass market paperbacks. A lot of publishers don't bother to send them. Don't know why, since they're almost $10 a piece. But I keep a little list of items. It gives me joy to go into a retail bookstore and sort of find them and buy them like an ordinary schmo. And I have one here that is on my list. Let me see if I can call up the picture of it here. It's Megan Frampton's it's the next volume in her in her Dukes Behaving Badly series. It's a Regency romances, saucy Regency romances. Uh, this is it's Why Do Dukes Fall in Love? It comes out later this month, and I am looking forward to it. And I don't think Avon will send it to me, so I will just go and buy it. Question number 10: what's your favorite candy? Now, notice all sorts of candies and treats were mentioned in this tag. So reducing it right here to just chocolate seems a little unfair. I have a list of snack foods, junk foods that have pleased me. Double stuffed Oreos, Entenmann's chocolate chip cookies in the white box. Must eat the whole box at once today. Breyer's mint chocolate chip ice cream, melted, so that the mint chocolate chips drift to the bottom of the milk-like top and form a tile that you can then scoop off and eat once you've sucked down the milk. Peppermint patties, Kit Kats, and Boston cream pies from Dunkin' Donuts. And that's it. That is the junk food book tag with great thanks to Beth. That was a lot of fun. And I tag Austin K, Marie Bird, and From Dusty Bookshelf. I want to hear what your favorite snack foods are and what books are associated with them. So there you have it. Thank you very much, BookTube.